Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into what might be one of the most eye-opening trades of the offseason. Yes, it's official. The Dallas Cowboys have traded for wide receiver George Pickens in a deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And folks, this is more than just a depth move or a late offseason adjustment. This is a calculated, potentially franchise-shifting trade that tells us volumes about where both of these iconic franchises are headed in 2025 and beyond. Let's talk through every angle: what the Cowboys gave up, what they gain, why the Steelers were willing to part ways with such a dynamic talent, and what this means for George Pickens himself, whose journey in the NFL so far has been anything but quiet. So, the trade terms: the Cowboys are sending a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-rounder to the Steelers in exchange for George Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round pick. At face value, that looks like the Cowboys are getting a potential WR1 level talent for what amounts to 2 mid to late draft picks, and for Dallas, this could be one of those classic buy low, reap high situations. George Pickens, a second-round draft pick back in 2022 out of Georgia, burst onto the NFL scene with his jaw-dropping athleticism, circus catches, and deep ball prowess. In his rookie year, he racked up over 800 yards and quickly became a fan favorite in Pittsburgh, known for his fire, intensity, and that aggressive edge on the field. By his second season, he surpassed the 1,000-yard mark and was among the top wideouts in the league in yards per reception. He was the definition of a vertical threat, with the kind of body control and hands that reminded people of a young DeAndre Hopkins. But here's the twist: despite his raw talent, things started to sour behind the scenes. There were murmurs, some subtle, some loud, about his behavior on the sidelines, frustration with play calling, lack of chemistry with quarterback Kenny Pickett, and questions about his maturity and buy-in to the Steelers system. While the team tried to keep things under wraps, by the end of the 2024 season, it was becoming more evident that Pickens' relationship with the Steelers organization was strained, and trade rumors started surfacing. Fast forward to this trade, and it looks like Pittsburgh decided it was better to cash out now rather than risk a locker room distraction, or worse, see the value drop further due to lingering drama. Now, from the Cowboys' perspective, this is a classic Jerry Jones move. If there's one thing Jerry has never shied away from, it's taking a swing on elite athletic talent, even when there's some risk involved. Just look at past trades and draft picks. They've rolled the dice before, and sometimes it hits, sometimes it misses. But the upside with Pickens is just too tantalizing to ignore. With CeeDee Lamb already holding it down as the Cowboys' WR1 and becoming one of the premier receivers in the league, adding Pickens as a WR2 or possibly even a company WR1 in certain sets creates matchup nightmares for opposing secondaries. Defenses already have to shade coverage toward Lamb, and now with Pickens on the other side, who do you double? This gives Dak Prescott yet another vertical option, which is crucial considering the Cowboys' recent offensive struggles in the postseason. Imagine those three receiver sets with Lamb, Pickens, and Brandon Cooks in the slot, or tight end Jake Ferguson lined up. Suddenly, the Cowboys' offense looks far more dangerous, more diverse, and more explosive. Speaking of Doc, this move also tells us a lot about the Cowboys' confidence in him. They're clearly committed to surrounding him with talent. There were rumblings earlier in the offseason about Doc's future, especially after yet another disappointing playoff exit. But with this trade, it seems like the Cowboys' front office is saying, "We're going all in. We're giving Doc the weapons. No excuses." It's a classic make or break season kind of setup. Either the offense gels and they finally break through that divisional round ceiling, or it could be time for a bigger reevaluation of the roster and quarterback situation. Now, back to Pickens. He's heading to a team that loves to spotlight its stars, and that can be either a blessing or a curse depending on how he adjusts. In Pittsburgh, he was in a very structured, often conservative offensive system. Mike Tomlin runs a tight ship, and the Steelers prioritize culture and discipline, sometimes at the expense of letting personalities shine. In Dallas, the stage is brighter, the spotlight is constant, and the media attention is nonstop. If Pickens embraces that spotlight and clicks with the coaching staff and quarterback, he could truly flourish and finally unlock that all-pro potential many saw when he came out of Georgia. And it's a big but if some of those attitude concerns re-emerge, the Cowboys could have a volatile situation on their hands. We've seen it before with Dez Bryant, Terrell Owens, and other big personalities in Dallas. It can go either way. But for fans, it's must-watch football. Now, let's zoom out and think about what this means for the broader NFC picture. The NFC East is already one of the most competitive divisions in football. The Eagles are loaded and still contending. The Giants are trying to rebuild around Daniel Jones or possibly a new QB soon, and Washington is in full rebuild mode but showing signs of life. Adding Pickens gives the Cowboys a distinct edge on offense if things go according to plan. It's a signal to the rest of the conference, we're not sitting still. We're going for it, no more incremental moves. This is bold, this is aggressive, and this is the type of move that championship-level teams make when they believe they're one piece away. From the Steelers' side, while it may seem like they're giving up on a talented player too soon, this might actually be a smart long-term move. They've always been a team that believes in system and culture over individual stardom. Think about how they've moved on from big-name players before Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, even Juju Smith-Schuster, and managed to stay competitive or rebuild fairly quickly. Trading Pickens now, while he still has solid market value, nets them draft capital and clears the runway for younger receivers on the roster. Guys like Calvin Austin III or a new rookie could step up, and the Steelers can use those extra picks to bolster other areas, possibly even look for a new QB if Kenny Pickett doesn't develop further. As for the locker room, this likely brings some relief. The tension and media attention surrounding Pickens were becoming a distraction, and now they can refocus. Another underrated angle to this trade is fantasy football. Pickens' value probably spikes with this move. He's going to a team with a more aggressive passing attack, a QB who's not afraid to throw downfield, and less competition for targets than people realize. Sure, CeeDee Lamb is going to get his, but if Pickens establishes early chemistry with Doc, don't be surprised if he puts up 1,100-1,200 yards and 7-9 touchdowns. He's always been a big play guy, and with Dallas's spacing and offensive line, those big plays could come more frequently. Now, all of this hinges on one big variable: maturity. If George Pickens can channel his fire into production and leadership instead of frustration and outbursts, he could become the steal of the offseason. He's got that alpha mentality, and sometimes that's what you need in high-stakes playoff games. Someone who isn't afraid to go up and make a contested catch in the red zone. Someone who wants the ball in the big moments. The Cowboys have lacked that edge in recent years, and if Pickens brings it and it's harnessed properly, it could be exactly what they've been missing. So, to wrap it up, this is a high-risk, high-reward trade for the Cowboys, but if it hits, it could be legendary. For the Steelers, it's a culture-preserving, forward-looking move that helps them build toward their next phase. For George Pickens, it's a second chance on a much bigger stage, with a massive opportunity to prove he's more than just potential, he's production. What do you think? Did the Cowboys just make the trade that puts them over the top? Or will this come back to haunt them if things go sideways? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you're hyped about the upcoming season, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest NFL breakdowns, reactions, and trade news. We'll be following this story closely all season long, so stay tuned. This is going to be one wild ride. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.